Why the hell did I show up to an invitation to a stranger's basement? I need to stop this. Yeah, hey, I'm here for the game.
Greetings!
Yes, Hazan, well met. We are the Guild of Leroy.
Yes, the Jenkinses!
Wait, what? Like as in Leroy Jenkins?
Yes!
And we wish you to go on a quest with us.
A questises!
Sweet, I brought my quest.
No! A virtual questises!
Yes, this virtual reality quest.
Okay, let me get this straight. A VR quest? On the quest? Steph? Dan?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
It's us.
us.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Yes! A questises! Yes! Oh, thank you so much for doing this, man.
Hey, man, this is gonna be fun. You didn't have to twist my arm to do this, man. No problem.
So, for those listeners that don't know, Mo is from GenXGrownUp. So, Mo, give me a little bit of a backstory on that.
Oh, sure. So basically, we're a bunch of Gen Xers. John actually started the channel. He said he saw a bunch of people on YouTube that were doing all these retro things, and he's like,
Sure.
That's not retro, that's our stuff.
Yeah.
So we started doing a bunch of videos just on, all arcade, media, pop culture, just all the stuff that we grew up in the 80s and 90s that we still
Sure.
enjoy.
Sure.
The only difference is we have a little bit more money now, so we actually can buy stuff,
Yes.
which we couldn't do
Yes.
as kids. But
Exactly
no,
right.
so it's really just kind of just revisiting the stuff that we love. That's still amazing how much that stuff is still popular today.
So give me just a real quick history of your D&D experience. So
Man. So yeah, that goes back to 1979. Yeah, it goes back to 1979 where my brother, I had an older brother that, well, this long story, he actually had cancer, so he was in the hospital a lot, and a friend there actually brought D&D there, so they would
Okay.
play D&D while they're having chemotherapy. So
Wow.
he brought the games home one day and just got me hooked like immediately. So this is like 79, 80, about that time frame. So.
Right,
so
like
from-
like the beginning and almost
yeah.
kind of the prime
Second,
of it.
I think second edition was like AD&D
Oh,
just came out. Dance
wow,
Dungeons and Dragons
yeah.
just came out.
The red book with the dragon on it.
That's the one.
Yeah, famous.
So ever since, and then from there it was just me and my friends who I still have today. I mean, that's what we did when we played Dungeons and Dragons, go to friends' houses.
Sure.
Played other role playing games, of course, and we expanded out. But D&D was always a mainstay that we always went back to.
This is so incredibly perfect because I'm the VR guy. I'll be the peanut butter. You're the chocolate because you're the D&D guy, right?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it's
totally
definitely-
two great tastes. It tastes great together.
I'm excited. I'm hoping this lives up to expectation. I'm trying to manage my expectations on this, but I'm hoping
Sure.
it does.
Well, I'll tell you, the people that I've played with that are D&D lovers, they're like, it's not 100% D&D because you don't have really a dungeon
Yeah.
master in it. There's things about it that they've told me that someone that has your experience would really like. So I won't bring this up, but I am
Okay.
super excited about you
Oh
trying
wow,
it
this
out.
is gonna be great.
All right, man. So let's just get right to it.
I'm excited, man. Let's do this.
Hello.
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 And I just kicked over my Mountain Dew. Let me do the introductions. This is Mo, and then we've got Danny, and
Hello.
then we have Virginia. Did you choose that?
I didn't mean to.
That's okay.
I did. I didn't mean to.
So do me a favor. Get the fuck out of my game and then come back. So Mo, before we get started, I guess I want your opinion on what you see here.
I mean, right now, just from the start, I mean, this looks pretty damn cool. This is, I guess, what we had to do in our imaginations when I was a kid. I guess you don't have to worry about that anymore. Now it's just draws it for you. I guess when it gets to the gameplay, that's when we really see it. Obviously, I think for the purpose of this game, they simplified some of it, which is fine. We're not rolling like, different dice and die 100s
Right.
and all that stuff. Really, what it comes down to is it fun to play and does it give me like, that feel you're with a group of friends playing a game.
Does this look like anyone's basement? Because it's very similar to at least the neighbor's basement when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like we're at Josh's house and Josh's mom's up there. She's making meatloaf, We're all going to be eating it later. So, Mo, you're the guest of honor. Which of the four do you want to play?
How about I'll be the fighter because that's probably the easiest one to manage. Right?
Perfect.
You just run up and hit things.
Yep, perfect.
And
Perfect.
say the way you can manipulate the table too is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the sorcerer.
Are you okay if I'm the assassin? You want to be the
Oh,
hunter?
no, you be
Or
the
hunter?
assassin.
Great.
Well, you're really like in there.
I will
Dude,
Yeah, I didn't go
yeah.
quite that far in there.
Go-
Holy cow.
go as far as you can.
Yeah, like shrink yourself down.
You can go all the way down here.
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
I don't know if it's on anybody else's screen, but Mo's spear is going through.
Yeah, through my head. Yeah.
I told you not to stand behind me. I mean, come on.
It's
I
foreboding.
always do it from behind, so you know.
And that's why Virginia's here.
So I guess to start, just move over, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And then just drop them on top of the door.
Oh, wow. Look at this thing. Holy cow.
By destroying the corrupt keeper far below.
All right, Mo, you are first.
Oh, great.
We typically just kind of choose a direction, clockwise or counterclockwise, and each one of
Just hit
these
everything.
is a point of interest. Yeah. So somewhere on this entire
Oh,
map,
at least, okay.
there is a door that's going to get us into the next dungeon. We need to find the character with the key, defeat him, and then get to the door.
Okay. I mean, I say just start this room closest and work our way around.
Let's do it. Yep. So whatever you want to do, we can grab gold and you'll get attacked, or you can hold back. It doesn't matter because you're the guy with the armor.
Okay, I guess I'll just move up and tank it, right?
Perfect.
And grab some gold for us.
Tank it. I like that.
Right. I'm gonna zap the big guy.
Nice. Yeah, I kept throwing the dice off the table. I guess you don't need a whole lot of...
Right. Right. You don't have to worry about knocking over the minis either.
So I'm going to hit this
Sneak
guy.
attack.
Yeah, sneaky sneak.
Bullseye. What's it the monsters do?
These are a lot tougher than the demo monsters.
Yeah, yes, they are.
You can pick up the bad guys and see what their attack and movement and abilities are.
Oh, that's...
So if you
Yep.
highlight them with your pointer.
Oh, look at that. Do cards come back? Like, are these cards, like, they just recharge or they, once you use them, they're gone?
The cards that have the recycling symbol on the bottom will come back. And you'll see that they are separate from the cards that are attack cards, which are separate from, like, healing cards or cards that have, like, a magic potion
Okay.
effect.
Well, heck, I'm just going to attack this dude then.
Sounds good to me.
Get him.
Kill him.
Destroy him.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
You didn't replenish your armor.
Yeah, I was caught in the moment.
I completely understand. So
Oh,
you can see there's an icon over top of her
Ooh.
head, and it shows that she will
right.
be stealth for the next 2 turns. So she can walk anywhere she wants and no one's going to touch her.
Got it. Okay.
I am going to help you out here. I'm going to hit this guy first.
My arrow.
There you go.
Have some steel. A little monster time.
Okay.
Incoming spider with the key.
It's a good use for a fireball right there.
Oh
A
yeah.
whole big group like that?
Yeah, this whole
Yeah,
group.
if you can, I'd
and,
say go for it.
And it looks like we found the key too.
Yes.
Yep.
Nicely done.
Very nice.
Well, that made it a lot easier, didn't it?
God, that spider
Yeah.
is creeping me out, man.
Yeah. So this should be double hit. Nice.
Okay, now she's berserk.
She's
She's
berserk.
gonna want to kill me. Die, bitch. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't cuss. Whoops, you
so-
blew me out.
Don't go for it.
Good
Nice.
Old, good old dagger,
Nice.
dagger, dagger.
So
there.
you'll see now, the rogue has the key, because the rogue
Yep.
is the person that killed
So
the
we
person. with the
so
key.
we find the door. We go to the next level then, basically.
Yep.
And if you watch, when you go to do a melee, it will show you which spot you're going to end up on.
Oh.
So
Okay.
depending on which direction you come from changes where you end up
Oh.
on the board after you attack.
Oh, that's good to know.
So what are your
See if I
impressions
can
so
make it
far?
Towards that.
So far,
door.
it's cool. It's kind of like, it reminds me of the basic edition of D&D, like the
Okay.
first the box set that came out. You know, which again, it's like you have
Yeah, life
archetype
over here.
characters,
Sure. And,
but
and
it works. You know.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. And so that basic version of what year was that?
Oh, like that was the first one that came out like in '77,
Gotcha.
and that's
Yeah.
just all you had was a fighter, cleric, mage, and thief. I think that was it.
Okay.
And they had pretty much the same attributes. You know, like the thief could sneak and that kind of thing. So it's
Sure.
pretty cool. There was definitely more story in the original one.
Gotcha.
You know, it wasn't so much a dungeon crawler, but all the module stuff had like a purpose, and you're there for some reason. I will leave it. Good thing
Well,
you
that
told
was
me this.
creepy.
Yeah.
I was standing right next to that door when it opened, and it was right behind me. Whew. Sheesh.
So what's that thing?
Which thing?
Yeah, I missed.
This thing right here.
It's a healing fountain. So
Oh,
if you
okay.
land on it, it'll restore all of our health. But I think we're all at 10 out of 10 right now.
Damn, that
Yeah.
was
We were a
badass.
second ago.
Was it?
It went right at my nose, and I stood still and I let it happen. Jeez, crazy man.
So how much does it ramp up the difficulty when you go down in levels? Is it pretty?
Well, I just opened a door and difficulty ramped
Oh.
up. There will be times where a door opens and it's just tons of things. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So, at which point the difficulty is sufficiently ramped, you know.
So as far as like hoarding cards, I mean, how long? Like, when's a good time to use them? Not use them?
I would say it's more about what cards you have, because there's some cards you could get that they're not going to be good until we get to the boss. And
Okay.
so I would say just use them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And also, if you don't use them, you can get stuck in a position like between levels 1 and 2 where you have a bunch of money to spend and you're full up on cards. And you can't buy anything new or good. So
Got it. So make sure you have
use
some
what-
space there.
Yeah, that's my opinion. Than what it's worth.
My bow is ready.
Ooh, you're brave.
I'm snapped.
She is
They
very
just- they
brave.
can't-
Okay.
Yeah, they can't
It's
see
easy to be
me.
brave when you're stealth, huh?
That's right.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you. Does anyone have a bone for the dogs? Because we can bring the dogs over to work as allies by giving them a bone.
I have a bone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, give a bone to one of the dogs.
Here.
Oh,
cute.
isn't that nice?
Oh, no, he's friendly.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Let's go looking for the gate, which I imagine is this right here, because it's the only thing we
It
haven't
has
seen
to be.
yet.
It's the only
one left. It's the only one left.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the healing fountain. Mo, can you get the gold? And
Yeah, no problem.
then once we do
And I'll
that,
just chill over here.
you'll pick up the door.
Bow
Perfect.
is ready.
You just get to
So I
that
should still
gold.
go for the gold?
Yeah, go for the gold.
Yeah.
Go for the gold.
Yeah.
Always go for the gold.
You're like Carrie Strug.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Mo, you're the Carrie Strug of tabletop games.
Okay, and we're out, friends.
Get out of here.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right, so you've got a number of cards. So at the top where it says Klepto's Bazaar, underneath that it says how many cards you have in your hand. I have 6
Right.
cards, and I'm allowed up to 11. But for everyone else here, I have 10.
Oh, 10.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And then up at the top right, it shows you how much gold that we've collected collectively, and you can choose what you want. And sometimes we'll ask, does anyone have so and so card? Because we know on the next level there could be a bad guy that could use that card.
Okay.
So I have a Hunter's Mark, which I can grab for 120 out of the 609. So I'm going to grab that.
Okay.
And then I have a Scroll of Charm that I can grab because on the third level.
Nice.
There are some
Get
bad
that
guys
sucker.
that will make all the bad guys invulnerable, but if we charm them, they'll make us invulnerable.
Ooh.
So having that is super handy. And then lastly, I'm going to grab a Bottle of Life.
And I always believe in grabbing all the healing potions that you can, because they're only 50 points.
So I have 2 detect enemies. Are those worth keeping?
Having just one is all you need, I think.
So can I sell it? Okay. So is it good to leave like a spot just in case you pick up a new card, or do you just fill it up?
You can, but you can also just as easily use the card so you have a spot open.
Uh-oh.
All right, Mr.
This
Mo.
looks different.
Yeah, so she is somewhere obviously on here, and the exit is actually already revealed to us, which is right here. But
Or we have to kill her.
But-
So.
Yep, but we just have to kill her. We don't have to worry about finding the exit. Let's see if I can go up here and see anything.
Beans are
Oh,
moving.
there's nothing there.
Spider.
Here.
Nothing over here in the quad.
Here they
Oh,
come.
here they go.
No hacky sacking going
No.
on. All right, here we go. Here are the
They're
unspoken,
all over here in the corner.
and we need so she is going to be over here.
Oh, shit.
Mo, I can't wait for you to see her. She looks like she's going to ask for your manager.
Seriously.
Oh yeah, she's got this look. Okay, so here's an unheard. Right here. So this guy here can make her invulnerable. So we need to kill them, but I need to charm at least 2 of them.
There are 2 unheards in there?
There's one. Oh, there she is.
Whoa.
There she is.
Oh, that was beautiful.
There we we go. Nice.
There's the unheard. You heard?
Her.
I can't get him yet. So I
She's
gotta
gonna
come
come
over
fuck with
here.
me.
I'm gonna do one more thing. And I'm going
Oh, to give you extra action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just put
Nice.
I marked
Nice.
her. And
Right
now I'm
on.
going to it's going to
Charm.
charm.
The...
I'm going to release the Kraken here.
I'm calling on the elements.
Man.
Nice.
And do you have no, I was going to say do you have a healing potion, but
I do have a healing potion.
Okay.
So I'll use that next time.
well, and we can also save it because we got this fountain if we need it.
No.
Oh, nice.
So when you're playing like a tabletop game,
Not as afraid.
you just have to imagine how big of a fireball it was. Where this, I guess, you actually get
Yeah.
to enjoy that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to hit her with a bottle of light just to keep her poisoned.
I know it's for clean, but what if
Hit her again.
this stuff will kill me?
Jeez.
Now it's the end.
But dang.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
She's angry,
Ow.
understandably.
She is mad.
I don't know. I think she's overreacting a little bit.
Oh, look at that. 8 of 50. She's almost dead. Saving the
If I
best for
put him
last.
in the middle of a fireball, is it going to kill him more?
No.
Sweet.
He's
He'll
only
be more
slightly
dead. It got better. I feel
Ooh.
happy.
Oh.
Ooh.
I did it! Yeah!
Oh, nice. Whoa.
Man, that was so much fun.
That was a blast. That was like the first like social game I played on the VR system, and it was really fun. You know, like I said, I felt like I was playing with 3 other people. You know, it was like 3 people were joking with each other. You know, it definitely had that around the table feel. Even though we like couldn't even see each other, really, it was just kind of funny because we couldn't really see
Yeah.
each other. But
Right.
you know, we could like point things out and you can see where, you know, I don't know. It just works. I can't really explain it.
Yeah. And when you think about virtual reality, you think about like shooting a bow and arrow, jumping out of an
Yeah.
airplane. You don't think about playing a board game, but it works really well.
Yeah, I was a little hesitant, like I said, because I just got this rig, so I didn't really even, you know, think about the social stuff. Because honestly, I thought it would be kind of silly.
That makes me so happy.
You know?
Sincerely.
Oh yeah, for sure. It just, like I said, it was just funny how, you know, we're making the, you know, movie references and song references and, you know, all that stuff
Yeah.
in the game, and it just felt very natural.
It's funny that to use the word natural when it's virtual.
Natural, I
reality.
know. It's just like I said, I felt like I was playing with people who could have been in the room with me, you know,
Like just like you're sitting around a table with friends,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
except you can
Yeah.
zoom in a lot better. So.
So what did you think of the overall game experience?
Oh, the game was fun. That was a fun game. Matter of fact, I was like, I think it's like probably just the right length. Like it's not too long, not too short. And I think for a game like that, especially, you know, I think the complexity was at the right level. Not too crazy, you know, and it kind of mixes like role playing with card games and all that kind of
Yep.
stuff. It was just a really fun game. You know, at the end, like when we won, I was like, holy crap, we won. You know, I was like
Yeah.
excited, you know.
Because we all had to work together.
Yeah, and that's what I like too, is the fact that it's like us against the game, and
Yeah.
and just things like, hey, you know, you do this and I'll do this to help you, or
Yeah.
even asking like, hey, how's your health? You know, it's just it's a level of civility almost that you don't
It
get
is.
otherwise.
And so, like I didn't play D&D.
Mhm.
I didn't play any type of tabletop board games like that. Like, I mean, like fantasy role-playing games.
Right.
It didn't appeal to me just because I'm a sci-fi guy, not a fantasy guy.
Mhm.
VR appeals to me because it feels so much more sci-fi like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
VR brought me to a game that is fantasy and is role-playing.
Yeah.
It lowered my barriers of entry and put me in a position to play it and then enjoy it, and then it snapped.
Right.
And now I'm kind of like, I think I want to start doing some tabletop gaming in real life because I get it now.
The thing with this also is, you know, to get that level of detail and stuff in a real tabletop game, it's cost prohibitive, right? It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who do it, and those are
Yeah.
people who, that's pretty much their lives. That's what they do.
Sure.
But for this one to do it virtually, to set up like this dungeon space and, it had different levels and, things
Yeah.
like that. It was extremely well done too, I thought.
Seeing the characters and how well they're animated, like,
Yeah.
that's another thing. This is totally Star Wars Chewbacca chess.
Oh yeah.
The monsters moving and punching each other. Do you remember it was called Battle Chess? It was like
Oh yeah, I used to play that.
I
That's way back when I played that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was great. And like we were kids and we were playing it in part because we wanted to just see them beat up on each other.
Yeah, and we used to have different pieces just attack other pieces because everyone had their own special attack and stuff.
Yes.
So.
So this is like Battle Chess meets Gauntlet,
Yeah, and that's a good comparison, I think. It was challenging, you said, because at the end there it got a little dicey.
Yeah.
But it seems like if you work well together, you could win. Which
Yeah.
I think is the key. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. I got to do it again.
Don't say that to me because you'll get a bunch of invites. So how much is this like real Dungeons and Dragons or other fantasy RPG or tabletop games?
It's actually not really, in the sense
Okay.
that it's a traditional, I'll say traditional RPG. You have the whole character sheets. Building your character is a big thing. So it reminds me more of like the very first edition of Dungeons and Dragons that came in a box. You could be one of 4 character types. The character sheets are pre-made for you. Still a lot of fun to play. No
Gotcha.
problem with that. But it doesn't take it to that next level where you really building like these in-depth, long-term kind of campaigns and characters and that kind of thing.
Sure.
But it reminded me, like I think your comparison you said earlier is really good. It was like Gauntlet with like some more RPG kind of added to it. A more sophisticated Gauntlet.
Being the sci-fi kid, I saw just a big computer at an arcade, which allowed 4 people to play
simultaneously. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's fantasy, but it's really cool because it's a computer. And then I was into it, and the social aspect of like talking to the guy next to me, maybe
Right.
kind of ribbing him for not doing well. And,
And each one is had different abilities and characteristics too. So that's also made it.
It brought me into a fantasy world that I wasn't attracted to, but now I got it, and because Gauntlet, man, I love Gauntlet. So what would you say this is missing to either be a better to appeal more to someone that likes D&D, or just maybe in general?
I mean, I think it would appeal to somebody who likes D&D because it is, like I said, it's kind of D&D light.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's not like a huge numbers. You could get in, play with somebody for a couple hours and leave and you're done. And I guess I'm not sure like how, like, as far as like, do you keep the same characters and do your characters actually evolve and get better? And if they don't
In the game, but not in multiple games.
Right. So in that case, I would probably say that what they have probably just works. I mean, I think it works as is because
That's nice to hear.
unless you're going to build like these multi-campaign things and you expect people to have these characters like World of Warcraft. Yeah, exactly, that kind of thing. But even I don't know, this is more fun to me than World of Warcraft. So
really
like I said, a fun way to spend a couple hours.
It's like a snack sized D&D game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun sized.
It is. And everybody plays a different character, so next time I play, I'll probably do a different character because I'm sure it'll give me a different flavor for the game.
Completely. Yeah. Because like I didn't instinctively just know that the mage had this one ability to stun enemies. Just after playing it after a while, I was realizing like, wow, I can really help out the party. Not always help out myself, but I can help out the party just by stunning this character.
Right.
And then as the heavy, I was like, wow, because I've got this armor, I can get up front and I can shield everyone. And like, just as you're saying, which from your years of playing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And and I picked the fighter for this one just because generally speaking, it's the easiest one to learn, right?
Sure.
It's not complicated. You run up, you
muscle,
whack them, and But even with that though, with the addition of the cards with the different abilities and stuff, it did add like another level of like just sort of sophistication maybe to it. That I have options. I don't have to just run up and slash them. I could use one of these cards and do area attack or something like that. Okay,
so we covered all the things you like, and we covered all the things you don't like, and it sounds like you like it much more than you dislike it. So would you play it again?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd definitely play this again.
What did you think about the navigation?
I mean, generally speaking, once I got used to it, it was pretty easy. The whole twisting thing and zooming in. But to tell you, like you said, it became really fun when I was like zooming in to a point where I felt like I was like almost sitting in the board.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and then I was like, this is a cool view here because I just felt like it was like just like right there, and I could move around really easy because earlier I was kind of a little bit further back, like I was sort of treating it like a real tabletop,
Sure.
But
sure.
it's not real, so I could just zoom all the way in
Exactly.
if I want to.
Yeah, I wanted to see the entire table, and then for the first couple times I was playing it, I would stand up and walk around the entire table, and then finally I did the thing where you reach in and then you just like mega zoom in, and it's such a Minority Report Matrix thing to just grab the world and zoom in,
and pull it in. And, and plus the game has such good detail that as you zoom in, you see more details, and
it's like higher fidelity the closer you get.
Or somebody would uncover like a whole bunch of monsters. I would just zoom in just to look at the different creatures and stuff that were over there. Yeah,
you open a door and there's like 30 things. They're all waiting for you. And I love it because everyone goes, whoa! Just everyone jumps.
It's surprised. They did a really good job with the fog, fog of war kind of thing. And so when the door opens, also you're like, whoa! You realize that there's only one person over there. You're like, ooh, you're in trouble.
How was that portrayed in a real D&D game, or is it pretty much impossible?
It's pretty close to impossible because in the early days, it was really, a grid map, grid paper maps, and I was just verbally describing, and so you're like, okay, you open the door, and you see 30 orcs, and it's up to the other person to do it. Usually like, are you kidding me? Not that wow factor, more like pissed off factor. But these days you really can't, because you can't mimic that surprise. I mean, it's you can't do that big reveal, like you said. You just can't really do that in real life. I'm really excited. I'm shocked at how far VR has come. Yeah, man. It's like now we finally have the virtual reality that the Lawnmower Man promised us, and that Tron basically promised us, and all these. And I'm still got that kid in a candy store. Like, I'm hungry and I've not had enough, and I want to eat that. I want to eat that. I want to play that game. All I keep thinking is again, with phones, it's like this is just gonna keep getting better. I mean, I just got this, and everyone I've showed it to has just been floored. And I showed them the little demo thing that comes with it, and they're just awed, because I guess VR really wasn't very good not that long ago. It was clunky. It was a little slow. The resolution, it was just lacking. But now you look at this, I'm like, holy cow! Like I said, I could watch a Netflix show on it, and it'd be perfectly fine. It's like with my, again, with my kids, they grew up with smartphones, right? They're the first generation really to have it. But I've never seen them do group video, or even group calls. But with this though, I could definitely see doing a group chat with a bunch of other people, and again, it's just you get that, I don't know, it's just able to cross that bridge, I think, where it's you feel like you're actually interacting with people. You don't feel like there's that wall in between you. You can't see it. So what would be your you've got an elevator pitch, one sentence thing to a person that's maybe is on the fence about buying a Quest? How would you sell it to them? Well, I mean, if they put one on their face, I think they would be sold. Have you seen John Carpenter's They Live? Oh, the movie? Yeah. Remember when Roddy Piper was trying to get the glasses on his face? The epic fight scene. Yeah. Yes, the most epic fight scene ever. Tell me all about GenXGrownUp. Oh, I mean, again, we're just a bunch of guys who grew up in the 70s and 80s, and still love all that same stuff, and it's that's how, we kind of found each other, right? I mean, we like the pop culture, the video games, the computers were coming up, technology was just kind of all starting, and it just shocks us how much of that stuff is still here. It's still, being used, and now it's not always the same, it's changed, but just all the stuff we grew up loving, we still love, and so we just wanted to share that love, and just, created a YouTube and a podcast where we kind of talk about just those things, and just through the eyes of people who grew up in the 80s and 90s. I found GenXGrownUp as just being a Gen X person, and I love listening to you guys because you cover all the things that I had, because you'll have top 10 whatevers, and I'm like, man, they better get this one in there. Then you guys will say it every freaking time, You guys you cover music, you cover movies, you cover TV shows, you cover products. I love in your podcast, you have these spaces in between sections. Oh, with the commercials. You play the commercials. Yeah. Honestly,
I sometimes just like I can't wait to hear what commercial you're gonna play.
But the thing is, it's amazing how much the things are still the same. You know, we still have that same thing with the sound when you walk to an arcade. And
Oh, yeah.
the smell and all that stuff that's just universal. You know, across everywhere.
And you guys have a thing that you call your listener, and that's the fourth listener.
The fourth listener, yeah.
And which I love.
Yeah, that started because when we first started the channel, it was John, George, and me, and we said, okay, so the three of us will always listen.
Yep.
And we'll maybe get one other person, so that's our fourth listener. So anytime anyone calls in, they're our fourth listener.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I am the fourth listener. No matter what anyone says, I'm the fourth listener.
Hey, I'm good with that, so don't worry.
Mo, seriously, this has been so much fun. I sincerely appreciate it.
No, I'm glad because like I said, I've been, I really wanted to get into VR, because it just seemed. And I was just waiting for a good excuse, to be honest. And so
I love being everyone's excuse. It's fine by me,
You gave me a
man.
great excuse, and I tell you, I'm really happy I did it. So thank you.
Of course, man. Now just get John and George, and the four of us. We're going to play Demeo together.
Yeah,
it'll be great.
It'll be sold. Trust me.
Yeah. All right, man. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. Anytime.
All right.